this even working? Let's see. Sorry, just trying to see if this is working or not. Okay, it looks like it is. Just had to be sure since it did not appear to me. Sorry, obviously, I am not the most experienced on this one, but if you can hear me okay, I wouldn't mind seeing a chat pop up there to mention it. Sorry, just trying to see if this is working or not. Okay, it looks like it is. Just had to be sure since it did not appear to me. Let's set it up like this. Sorry, obviously, I am not the most experienced on this one, but if you can hear me okay, I wouldn't mind seeing a chat pop up there to mention it. Getting over the flu, sorry. Sorry, just trying to see if this is working there. Okay, it looks like it is. Let me share this link. Had to be sure since it did not have somebody watching. Sorry, obviously, I am not the most experienced on this one, but if you can hear me okay, I wouldn't mind seeing a chat pop up there to mention it. Getting over the flu, sorry. Sorry, just trying to see if this is working there. Okay, it looks like it is. Let me share this link. Had to be sure since it did not have somebody watching. Say hi. Sorry, obviously, I am not the most experienced on this one, but if you can hear me okay, I wouldn't mind seeing a chat pop up there to mention it. Getting over the flu, sorry. Sorry, just trying to see if this is working there. Okay, it looks like it is. Let me share this link. Had to be sure since it did not have somebody watching. Say hi. Sorry, obviously, I am not the most experienced on this one, but if you can hear me okay, I wouldn't mind seeing a chat pop up there to mention it. Getting over the flu, sorry. Sorry, just trying to see if this is working there. So I'll close that. And I'll just see if in my OBS studio, if it shows any chats or anything. Let's see. There we go. Although it doesn't give me a place to... No, I don't want to do that. And let's see if this... I guess modifying that affects the thing there. But, yeah, so I mentioned a little while back that there was this Notice Me Game Jam by Game Maker Studio, and it was also being done in association with the Opera GX browser, which is actually something that I had been using prior to hearing the announcement, as I had heard about it a short time ago and started using it. I like it. It's a pretty interesting browser, but it actually has a lot of Game Maker Studio games integrated into the browser that you can play. And so that's actually what you'll be able to do here if you go to this page, gxc.gg/game-jam/vote, and you can play one of these games that I'm going to play here today. And looks like there was just, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 games that were submitted for this. Voting ends tomorrow, so figure I might as well go through and play it before the voting ends to be able to make a judgment call on how these games are, if they really live up to something like what can go into an arcade. And let me just see here. I just need to check, see if there's any other participants or anybody else watching, or if it's just me talking to the universe to be able to. Yeah, it looks like nobody's here. Make a judgment call on how these games are, if they really live up to somebody out there, something like what can go into an arcade. Otherwise, it feels kind of pointless. Although I guess this will be saved to YouTube here. I just need to check, see if there's any other participants or anybody else watching, or if it's just me talking to the universe to be able to. Yeah, it looks like nobody's here. Make a judgment call on how these games are, if they really live up to somebody out there, something like what can go into an arcade. Otherwise, it feels kind of pointless. Let me mute that. There. And just waiting to see if anybody else will join me. Okay, looks like Twitter's gotten some feedback there. And so, again, welcome to this live stream of the Notice Me Game Jam games. And so this was talked about on Arcade Heroes a little while back. I think I even did a video about it, where the Game Maker Studio 2 put out a call for indies to create a game that could go into an actual real arcade cabinet. Now, for me, why does it matter that I play this? Am I just some random gamer? Kind of, almost. But I'm a professional arcade operator. I own an arcade business in Utah, and that's where I am at right now. So just to kind of show you really quick, so I'm in one of my locations. This is the Ogden, Utah location. That's basically northern Utah, north of Salt Lake City, by about 40-45 minutes. And so part of what I have to do for my job is actually make decisions on what games to put into my arcade. And so I have to make a judgment as to whether or not it's worth the money to spend on all these arcade machines, because running a business like this in a retail location requires money to do. I mean, obviously, like everybody else, I need money to survive and live a home life of some kind, have a family to support, and so I need that. But also, just to operate this business, it requires money. So there's rent, which I actually just had to pay today. There's electrical costs, there's insurance, there's taxes, there's paying my employees' wages, and the other associated costs with that. There's buying these new games, there's maintaining these games, there's marketing. And so there's a lot of costs that go into running a business. And the way that an arcade makes its money is by putting these games out, allowing people to play them, and in my case, exchanging money for tokens, which tokens then go into the games. And of course, since I am here, I'm going to have customers coming in. I just noticed somebody coming in right now, so that may be happening. So I may have to pause depending on what they need. I don't have all the games on yet, just because of I like to save electricity. Electricity is one of my highest bills, and so it's good to save on power. No point in having all the games on when nobody's here, but I've got a little family coming in now, so let me help them out. Hello.
Do you buy credits or use quarters, or how
We use tokens, so they're 25 cents each. You can use cash or card, whatever works for you.
It's just straight up, you don't get any deals for it?
Yeah, because we do refunds on tokens, so that would make doing deals tough, but our prices are also pretty low comparatively. There's one over at the movie theater there. I'm not sure what they have currently, or what their prices are. But,
I have current price. I just didn't know.
Sure. Let's see. So you want all 20?
Yeah.
Just getting a Ziploc bag to make it a little easier for you. Now, if there's anything off that you guys want to play, let me know. I can turn it on. Yeah.
He's going to put him in a Ziploc bag.
There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have fun. Looks like I may have more people coming in here in a second. It's spring break here in the local area, so it's probably going to be very busy today. I wanted to do this yesterday, but it was so busy that it just didn't make sense for me to do that. Actually, I might as well go turn on some more games right now. Again, if you're just joining me, my name's Adam with ArcadeHeroes.com, but I'm at one of my own arcade businesses in Utah, and so got customers coming in. So let me go turn some games on real quick. Let me turn that on for you. Well, everything here takes tokens, the tokens that you got, but wait to put coins in it until it shows the gameplay, otherwise it won't see the coins. So to be, just, yeah, they take the tokens, just wait to put your coins in until it shows the gameplay, because while it's booting up like those ones, it won't see the coins. So it'll be just a moment. Some of them load up pretty fast. Yeah, just a moment.
Possible to get tokens with a card? Yeah. What are most of them?
So I'd say on average the cost is 2 tokens a game. The highest would be 4 tokens, which is $1, because they're 4 for $1.
Maybe give me 10 to start out with.
Okay. Sorry, just got to get through a bunch of screens here.
Do you get a discount for doing more?
No, because we do refunds on tokens, so that would make doing discounts complicated.
That's cool though. I'll take your CD.
You're all good there. There's $5, and there's 10.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Okay. Guess I lost a few of you there. So, as mentioned, I'm working a real arcade, and so where it's spring break, there's a lot of kids out of school, and they want to come and play at arcades. And so maybe dealing with that as I try and play through these games, but I'll just counting out some coins really quick, and then we'll get to playing these games from the Notice Me Game Jam. See my shiny head there. But so as I was mentioning a few minutes ago, as I am a real arcade operator, and so when it comes to arcade games, I have to make a judgment on what I'm going to put into my business, as that's what's going to pay my bills. And so I was interested in seeing this Notice Me Game Jam because these are being made to be put into a real arcade cabinet. Now, I haven't seen any details released about the arcade cabinet itself. I would assume that it would be something kind of 80s style, 90s style with a couple of joysticks and buttons. Just not 100% sure how everything is there, but I, as an arcade operator, I've actually bought several indie arcade games. Those sorts of things do exist. It's just doing an indie arcade game is generally a lot more complicated than doing an indie game for Steam or for the Switch eShop or whatever. And that's because, well, not only do you have to design the software, you also have to design the hardware, and that's a very expensive proposition. Hey, Reagan, good to see you. Yeah, not busy where you're at. Yeah, I hear it's spring break. I don't know if it's spring break where you're at. I know it's different for every place. So it'll vary, but yeah, I'm expecting this entire week to be pretty solid because historically I've been doing an arcade for 14 years almost, and pretty much every year except for the pandemic, spring break or 2020, the spring break has been one of the busiest weeks of the year, and so it's just obvious reasons why. But yeah, so as I was saying, yes, indie arcade games do exist in arcades, and I've bought several of them over the years, as I like to support those efforts. It's just, unfortunately, a lot of the time they're not always great buys, and that's because what works for an indie game on Steam or eShop or PlayStation Network or Xbox Live Arcade doesn't always work in an environment like this. And sometimes that's because of how the game, or oftentimes that's how the games are designed, is because most of the time these indies are designing them with a console mentality. Allowing you a lot of time for something, whereas arcades, really, time is always your enemy, and that's the way it's always been ever since Pong. There's always some kind of timer at play. You can't pause the game, and so this keeps the action brisk and moving along, but it creates a very different style of play. And not only that, but also just when you're playing, the quarter is on the line every time. And so when I play these Game Jam games, that's kind of what I'm going to be looking for. I'm going to see if they really are designed for that sort of play. Hold on. Got a phone call. Hello. Hey. Oh, I'm just streaming online right now. No, you're fine. What's up? I let him know about all that, yeah. Okay. Sure. Yeah, it should be fine. No problem, thank you. Alright, sorry about that. By the way, can you hear me okay? Or is there too much ambient noise or any echo, anything like that? Let me know if so. But, so anyways, as I was saying, what I am going to be looking at when I look at these games is I'm going to judge these like I was planning to buy them as an arcade cabinet. And if they play too much like a console game, then it's not going to be interesting to me, because that means they're not going to earn well. And so there's a few things that I would look at. There is an echo. I only have one. Let me see. Does that help at all? I'm bringing down my audio input capture. I only have one mic, which should be this blue snowball. Just a little bit of echo, but bad. Any better? So yeah, not bad. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure why. There might be an echo going on there. but just made some adjustments, and so that's better. Okay, good. All right, great. So apologies about that. That might be why a few people popped in and then popped out. All right, so again, what I'm looking for is I'm going to judge these, like, again, since they want to go into an arcade cabinet, I want to see if they really would work in an arcade environment like this. And just to kind of give you an idea, if you're just joining, so I am sitting in a real arcade. You got people here playing right now. And so would any of the games in the Game Jam work? Like if I put one of those right there, would it attract people to play it? You know, something like Jurassic Park 3, which you just barely saw. You know, that's obvious why that one works and why it draws people in. Yes, it has a name, but it also has guns. And so one thing that's necessary with the game design of an arcade game is that it has to be intuitive. You have to be able to figure out what to do without much explanation or any explanation at all, to be able to pick it up very fast and enjoy yourself. And so you can think of a number of arcade games where that's very easy to do, like Pac-Man. Like if you can try and imagine approaching Pac-Man where you've never heard of the concept before, and what would it feel like the first time you encountered Pac-Man or Space Invaders? You know, those games are very easy to understand because the controls were simple and the concept was simple. Space Invaders, you have alien invaders shooting at you and marching towards Earth, blow them up. Pac-Man, collect the dots. All you have to do is move the joystick around. So it's very intuitive. But that's one issue that sometimes indie games I've seen kind of miss that mark, especially with an arcade game. I've heard Midway arcade designers talk about this before, like George Petro, who designed Terminator 2, the arcade game, and many other arcade games. Where you have the person has to understand what to do, usually within the first 10 to 15 seconds. If they don't get it, then oftentimes they may just die very quickly or just walk away. And I've seen that happen before, where people just walk away from a game, say it sucks, because they didn't understand it. And that's another thing too. Arcade games cannot have a lot of text. People don't read. Even if they're literate, they don't want to read something when they approach an arcade game. They just want the information to be given to them visually as much as possible. And that's also where like having a voiceover is often very useful in arcades. Like one of my favorite examples is Gauntlet Legends, where that one is trying to be more like a role-playing game, but it's has a narrator to kind of guide you along. It has other visual cues like the arrows. But if you have a lot of text that you're throwing at people, they just glaze over. Because again, when you're in an arcade, you don't want to really use your brain. You just want to play and have fun. And so if any of these games here are kind of following more the console side of things, where there's maybe a lot of text explanations, then that's going to diminish any enthusiasm I might have for them. Just because, again, as an arcade operator, there have been some games like Big Buck Hunter where I have to go and explain to people how to navigate menus. Like, it's super easy. Like, if you just take a second and look at it and read, then you're fine. But so often I'll get people where they're like, the game's broken. And I go and check, and it's just they just picked the wrong thing because they just were shooting whatever, and they weren't actually reading what to do. And that doesn't have a lot of text. So hopefully none of these bore the reader with a lot of text. And the same can also be said for tutorials. Now, that may come back to how intuitive it is. Now, sometimes, yes, you have an innovative concept that's so different that it needs some kind of explanation, some kind of tutorial as to how to get the point across, because it may not be obvious. One very famous example, or infamous example, would be Sega's Too Spicy, which was a very innovative game. It was a light gun game that used foot pedals almost like Time Crisis, but the way that it played was radically different from pretty much any other light gun game out there. It was like a cross between a fighting game and a light gun game. And that might be why you've never heard of it before, because it didn't sell very well, because it needed a tutorial to explain how to play, and a lot of people just didn't care for that. And again, that's what I've seen with a lot of the games that I have, and that the trend in more recent years has been to make things casual and easy to grasp. And so we'll see if any of these 10 Notice Me Game Jam games fit that bill. But one last thing that I'll look for in these games is how nice do they look. Now, one common mantra that I've even said before back in the past was graphics don't matter. It's gameplay that matters. Now, I've changed my thinking on that, running an arcade like this, and as mentioned, buying indie games. In an arcade environment, graphics do matter. Yes, gameplay still does as well. It's like I said, the game needs to be fun, it needs to be intuitive, it needs to have replay value. But if a game looks old, like trying to look like it came from 1977 or something, then a lot of people, because they don't recognize the name and it looks old, they just think, well, that's some weird, obscure game that I've never heard of. It's old. I'm just going to walk past that and go to Jurassic Park or House of the Dead or Luigi's Mansion, because those are names that I recognize. And so an indie game, it needs to try and look better than maybe something that's trying to be really old. Now, I get it. With these games in particular, these are done by small groups, maybe by only one person, and so they may not have the resources to look like a AAA game, and I'm not expecting a AAA game, just expecting something that catches the attention of somebody walking by in an arcade. And oftentimes, vibrant colors will do that. Like, I have a game for the Arcadia platform called Gimmick Exact Mix, which is a remake of an NES game from 1992. Now, it's a game that nobody's really ever heard of. Very, very few people have. But it's so vibrant and colorful that I've had a lot of people playing it. Now, the game's tough as nails, and so it actually, a lot of people don't keep playing just because it's so hard. But it's just because of that vibrancy, it just draws in a lot of people. And so that's one thing I'll also be looking for. Now, of course, with the theme of the Notice Me Game Jam, it came at night, I think. Or let me see here. Then the night changed everything. So it is incentivizing something about nighttime in the theme. And so, yeah. And, of course, the people that you guys can go and play these games too, vote for the one that you find is best, and whoever gets first place will win $10,000. And so, let me stop yapping, and we'll see how these games play. I'll give each game about 5 minutes. That should be more than enough time to determine whether or not it would be worthy of going into an arcade machine. And hi, Will, and hi, Madeira, and anybody else that's joined. So thank you for joining me here. So I've been yapping a bit about how I'm going to make a judgment on these, and trying to approach these games as I would buying any other arcade machine. Really quick, I need to go turn on a couple more pinball machines, as I'm at one of my arcades in Utah, and I've got customers here, and so and I need to turn on a few more lights. So hang tight really quick. I'm going to go turn those on, and then we'll get started with Moon Leap. Okie dokie. Hey Clay, how's it going? And Clay in the chat says actually been here to this Ogden location. You want to try Space Wars? Is that one of them on the list? Or do you mean the original Space Wars from 1977? I have played that one at California Extreme, and it's pretty cool, but man, that's a huge, huge cabinet. Anyways, so again, there are certain factors that I'm going to look at with each of these games. Hopefully they're not too much like console games, but I'll also try and give each one about 5 minutes of play, and let's see how they go. So let's start with Moonleap. And again, I'm playing these in the Opera GX browser. They're one of the sponsors of this tournament, and it's an interesting variation of the Opera browser, made specifically for gamers. And like if you go up into the corner, you can play games in your browser just like this. So with Moonleap, it says, in search of a more beautiful night, the Moonchild descends to retrieve some shooting stars. So we have normal mode, arcade mode, options, and credits. So this right here obviously would not work in an arcade. Like this screen, these typical console-style starting screens wouldn't work. What you need is an attract mode. Any options need to be down to the arcade operator can access them, but not the actual player. Let me see what options we have. Now, granted, since these are designed for this contest, it may need maybe part of the design things that they wouldn't have that. But I assume let's try arcade mode. Okay, so space is jump. So this reminds me of what is that game called? Bomb Jack, I think. Oh, okay. So every time you jump, it changes those things. Okay, got it. Changes the moon. Oh, okay. There we go. Yeah, Clay, that's one of my favorite things about Opera GX. Like, it has like all these social media things built into it, like Discord and Twitter messages, Instagram, Messenger. I wouldn't mind if it had a few more, but it's really nice. That's how I've been using Discord now. It's just in there instead of having it in a separate window. Oh, crap. Oh, that's tough. There we go. Oh! Should have saw that coming. Okay, so I have to hold the space bar to go. Ah! Seem to have unlimited lives. I guess one other test that I should do with all of these games is what happens when you don't do anything. As that's actually a test that I do with normal arcade machines, like even racing games. Like, what happens if you're sitting there and you don't push the gas, you don't push the steering wheel? Does the game play itself, or does it show that there's some skill involved? Now here, there does not appear to be any sort of timer to kind of push somebody along, which is what you would want in a game like this, but that's something that they could add afterwards. Strange to have to hold space to climb. Oh, yeah, I shouldn't have done that. Okay. Okay, I see what I need. thought I jumped. Okay, so I did run out of lives. It was generous with those. So that was arcade mode for Moonleap. Let's try normal mode. So it looks like this just lets you pick the stage. Otherwise, gameplay is the same. Didn't do too bad that time. What do you guys think of this one, just from what you've seen, or if any of you have actually played it? Yeah, I don't want to go that way yet. Hey, there we go. Got past that one. Oh, do you mean Space Warp? Yeah, it must be Space Warp. So it's a fun game, and that's a good example of a game that's kind of indie, but it's very intuitive, very easy to figure out, looks nice, the cabinet looks great. Of course, these days, that's one thing that goes into a lot of arcade design is the cabinet as well. That's one way to grab attention from people. Oops, crap. Let me see if I can. Oh, dang it. Okay, I think I know what to do here. This game again, I think this is close to or Solomon's Key is I think the game that I was actually thinking of. There's also a game that came out, an indie game that came out not long ago, or a couple of years back, called Ricky and Vicky. It's on Steam and the Atari 7800, where it's very similar. Please don't pull on that. Thank you. But like this one, the play definitely fits there, and if this was to show up on an arcade cabinet, I could see it. Just you wouldn't want to have a normal mode like this. You probably want to have a timer. Maybe make it so that the operator could adjust how many lives are available. But this one's cool. Maybe could be a little bit more flashy to capture attention. If there's any lighting effects or whatnot. But that's Moonleap, so that's neat. Next up, we got Bulb Boy. So let's see what Bulb Boy is like. So you play as a living light bulb in a puzzle platform about redirecting electricity with sockets and big cables. And currently sitting at a 3.45 rating. Okay. Looks like it does have an attract mode instead of just sitting on a title screen, which is good. One thing that is one thing you want to look at as an arcade operator, particularly if you're in an arcade where you're there all the time, is sometimes these attract modes, if they're very repetitive, can be annoying. One pet peeve of mine is what this is doing right now is going to a dark screen. So when people are walking through an arcade, sometimes they only pass by the machine for a second. And so you don't want to have any black screen, because if people are walking by when it is a black screen, they may think that it's actually broken. But it looks like it's actually started already. So kind of just jumped right in there. So it's giving us the tutorial. showing a gamepad. Probably should be a joystick and buttons, but again, that could always be fixed. So you've got E for interact or space for interact, or you can also use A, D, and W, or up for jump. Okay. So it's got a generous jump. I do like the lighting effects on this one. I think that's the kind of thing that you want. Okay, so I'm picking up this plug, putting it in there to open the door. Okay, gotcha. So that's a nice show, don't tell sort of way as to how to interact with things. Controls are simple. Oops. So it looks like I want to keep grabbing the plugs. Interesting. So far there doesn't appear to be any enemies, but maybe those will come later. Oops. Guess I need to hold it down. Oh, okay. Looks like I only get so many chances. Of course, in an arcade, you would want to have lives instead of like endless replay, restarting. That's definitely more of a console thing these days. Okay, I see now at the bottom that there's this line that I need to be mindful of. Which shows the electricity. Is there a way to throw it up there? Or, oh, okay, you have to put it back to keep it in this range to be able to. But it does not want to go all the way over. Okay, we got something else here. So maybe this one goes there. Or not. Now let me try again. Okay, so no. Alright, so first I want to go here, I guess. Plug this in, maybe. The difficulty curve on this one kind of just skyrocketed pretty fast. What the? Yeah, I'm not seeing how these connect here. So maybe this is where a lot of people are getting stuck on. Is you can't seem to reach. Unless I'm missing some sort of mechanic. I mean, I do like the interaction of how the chords move and everything and the lighting effects, but yeah, you don't want it to be this difficult this fast. So, interesting concept, but needs some adjustments on the difficulty and adjustments. Hi.
We have 2 tokens over there that put in Dr. Dude if you couldn't get it to work.
Oh, okay, let me take a look.
We have 1 credit as well as Luigi's Mansion. We can't get it to free. All for 1 credit.
Okay, old games, new problems. I think that's enough for Bulb Boy. It's an interesting concept, but it needs some work. So 2 down and 8 to go. You're welcome. Thanks for coming in. Now we go with Disco Hell Mayhem. Fight against the forces of evil with your mighty yo-yo. Isometric arcade game, top 10 in Notice Me Game Jam. Vote here for overall winner. And it looks like there have been a few people doing challenges on this one, but its rating is 3.29. So once it's finished downloading here, let's take a look. Console style thing. Yeah, kind of getting the impression all of these are going to have console style menus, which you cannot have if these actually were to reach an actual arcade. But story, if you wanted to watch that, looks like this is where that's a leaderboard. Actually, I guess in thinking about it, important thing. Yes, there are some arcade games these days which have been doing leaderboards for some reason. I don't understand it. It's almost like we're just regressing. But game features like Luigi's Mansion Arcade, which is sitting right over here. It's one where it has a leaderboard, but it never shows it during the attract mode, which makes it pointless. And Star Wars Battle Pod did the same thing. And so it's just like, why even have points and scoring if there's no way for you to really go back and see how you did? So I don't understand that. But anyways, let's start with Endless. Doing a control scheme like Hubert, but it took a moment to figure out. With the joystick, probably would be easier. Look at this. I'm sure if you guys are hearing any of the game. The Electric Yo-Yo is a game that Taito made like 82, 81. Pretty obscure. So far I like the look of this one. It's finding a way to stand out with different colors. I guess if I could hear it, I think I had to turn my volume down so that I could echo. I'm not very though in an arcade environment, you still want something to incentivize you to keep moving along. It's like the old beat 'em up games. Like, you know, when it would say go, and flashing go, pointing in the direction like golden axe or fight is that's not what you want. Sit still for 5 seconds before the enemies move. Something else. Now right here, that sort of thing would be nice for the upper checkerboard area to maybe become transparent a little bit, or show like an outline of the enemy. Maybe there was a sound cue though. Down, I can hear it. Oh, I lost my disco. Another interesting addition that would make this cooler would be pickups, maybe power-ups, treasure. Fire faster than also doesn't help that with all my arcade games on and some games going on, I don't know how well you guys can hear this in the background. I did alright, it looks like. Not the top score of all of them, but semi-decent. Notice the chat's kind of died down. Don't know how many of you are still with me, but if so, anything so far looking like something you would vote for? Or like? So far, I like this one the most that I played. Like I mentioned, there are a couple of games, or a couple of features I might adjust. I mean, obviously, this right here would not work for an arcade environment. There need to be a countdown, and then once the countdown reaches 0, unless you continue to just go back to the attract mode. I'm sure that they didn't design it like that, they just for this. Change it for final production. Let's just see what happens here. Okay. I guess kind of a track mode thing, but it doesn't look like a typical attract mode. This is where you should be explaining your story if you have one in any typical arcade game. It just that's the best place to do it. But also why you don't want to have really complex stories unless you find an innovative way to feed it to the player while they're playing, which again is why I think narration is pretty helpful with that stuff. All right, next up is Gunk Night. After a run-in with a rabid raccoon, Bellamy transforms in the moonlight to a rolling raccoon with an insatiable urge to spread gunk In the day, she'll be at your door ready to clean, for a fee, of course. Have a blast with this satisfying platformer. All right. So another console-style menu. Yeah, this is probably going to be the case for all of these, but it does show us our controls right here, so I can see what to do. I needed that, but another thing to change for final production. Plus, I hope their game cabinet wouldn't have actual game pads on it. Those will get wrecked in an actual arcade environment, so they need to find a way to integrate actual joystick controls. Okay, so starting with a story. Okay, so I can skip this if I want to, which is good, as a lot of times people will just want to get straight into the action. But it looks like it's just explaining that same kind of story that I read about there. I will hold it and get going. Which wonder if they've played the indie arcade game Retro Raccoons, which was released not long ago. So we'll get a little cutscene here. So kind of a clever little Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde sort of thing there. Looks like now I'm in my own house, cleaning stuff up. This one, I like the liquid effects. for the vacuum side. Okay, so I got everything. I just need to keep cleaning, I guess. So you do want to Anybody still with me out there? I guess let me open a YouTube window here just to see. Yeah, looks like most of you have left. Well, if you're watching later afterwards, then hopefully it's keep you engaged. But, no, I don't want to quit operating. This one is an fun concept, the vibrancy. A lot of the fun of that game was just running through places and wrecking as much stuff as you could. But you didn't have to clean it up afterwards. Of course, I know there's that game based on the Shadow Warrior universe, Viscera Cleanup. I've not actually played that. I've played Shadow Warrior 1 and 2, but not the Viscera Cleanup. I need to try that sometime, so maybe this is also inspired by that and a little bit of Splatoon. But I think that's good enough for what I accomplished here. Of course, now that I remember how to use the, I figured out how to use the vacuum, it makes this a little easier to go through. Zero on that one, so that's Gunk Night. Next up is Raven Estate. Monsters await at Raven Estate. It rhymes. Become the bullet hell as you play a crow on a mission to expel the monsters from his newly acquired estate in this high-octane shoot-'em-up. So that's good. I already know what to expect right off the bat. That it's a shoot 'em up, and so that's while may not be innovative unless they came up with a new innovative mechanic. It's a easy way to grab the player because I know what a shoot 'em up is. Generally going to be easy to control. If this thing loads. Let me try reloading. Oh. Let's try that again. There we go. Now thinking about the arcade cabinets, if it can run in a browser, all these games can run in a browser, then obviously it's not something that needs powerful PC to work. Another console style. Twin stick shooter? Using the arrow keys to move the character around, but the main like a shot in the hand. That's something that can come I guess that could be a way to, if the game cabinet only has one joystick, but I want to do a joystick shooter, it's difficult to do. Like, I used to own a game that was revive that a little bit. Perhaps. Even then, I'm doing alright. Just like the singer nothing. So, still got 2, 3, 4, 5 more games. So we're halfway done. So, if anybody's still with me, then thanks for sticking around. So these are some interesting games. It's just so far, almost all of them, they seem to be designed more with the mentality of the arcade genre on Steam, or that you would find on maybe the iOS store or Google Play, and not where the developers have actually played an arcade game and tried to design it with that mentality of, what am I doing in an environment where people are walking by, and how do I capture their attention and keep their attention while we play, and all those things that I talked about at the beginning of creating an intuitive game. And so far, just I think with some adjustments, these games do have the potential to reach that. But would I pay several $1,000s for any one of these games? That's hard to say at this point. Maybe if they were in the Xer range of pricing on the more value end under $1,000, maybe. Like Disco Hell Mayhem to me seems to have the most potential there. So far, again, with some adjustments, Moonleap as well. Just Moonleap, one thing that could help that one is maybe a little more flair on the graphics to grab people in. Let's keep going. Sylvester versus Little Beezy, sorry. Little Beezy and his army of horror balls are trying to take over Winkletown. Equip your goose cannon, and show them who rules the roost in this compact arcade shoot 'em up with roguelite elements. Blah. Made by Chaz. I actually noticed that exists on modern arcade games. The epilepsy warning. Sylvester.
Versus Little Beezy!
There we go, there's some narration. That's the first time I heard that, so that's nice. So this looks like it's... So, I mean, I guess if the arcade cabinet offered a trackball, that could work here, but using a mouse like controller to joystick rarely works out. See what options we got. It has scan lines, nice. Credits.
Sylvester versus Little Beezy! Meet Sylvester.
Looks like I can skip this.
Sylvester is the designated agent of death of Winkletown.
In the production model, instead of allowing you to sit there. Again, this is a console mentality thing.
On Saturdays, he likes to go shopping with his
But I do like that there is narration there.
Sylvester,
Again,
you call yourself an
people
agent
read all
of
that
death.
stuff
You're
if there isn't
pathetic.
somebody telling it to them.
I'm Little Beezy, bitch! The designated agent of death for Pickle
So it
City!
has some fun personality to it.
What's my special ability that's going to make it extra difficult for you to defeat? I can turn night into day! And I have an army of horror. Open wide! Winkletown will be mine! Your attempts are futile! How did you not die? How did you not die?
So these are interesting, these power-ups, where they have a negative and a positive element to that. I like that.
I'm going to have your soul for breakfast tomorrow. Why do you persist on upgrading your weapons? Sylvester, Sprinkle Town is mine!
One thing that
How did you not die?
And this Satan-like guy here definitely fits that bill. This one definitely has the most personality out of everything I've played so far.
Oh no, here come my horribles! What are you doing? I'm little Beezy, bitch!
Swearing a little bit more.
Look at me, I'm Sylvester and I've leveled up again! Look at me, I'm Sylvester and I've leveled up again! Game over, yeah!
I like this one. With some minor arcade style adjustments. That one's really worked out really well. Yeah, biggest personality out of everything we've played so far. As long as it would work well with joystick. Of course, there are analog joysticks for Minecraft Dungeons Arcade, which is one. The old Gauntlet, Dark Legacy, NFL Blitz also used 49 blade joysticks for analog. So something like that would probably work out well here. But then an old stick. I think that's one I may vote for. Unless one of these other ones can take it away. Although it looks like you could vote for all of them, really. Now let's go to Skeleton Punchers. Explosive pixel art action. How long can you last against the Zerpian army of the night? I'm guessing it's something like Street Fighter, maybe simplified. But we'll see. Or maybe it's a beat 'em up. Zerpians discovered the Christian's hoard. Treasure. At least it's starting off with an attract mode. I almost wonder if these could be going into Poly Cave. seem like you could go into the Polycade system, which is a wall-mounted arcade system with multiple games on it. That's developed by one of the sons of Nolan. Something that only I probably notice about the font here is it looks a lot like the font used in some old Atari 8-bit PC games, like I should be paying attention to this. Get these accidentals during the day, attack from help during the day, scroll more. Should move along instead of allowing me to move it along by pushing the button. But it's cool that there is an upgrade system for this one too. We'll try it out. With the wand. So now it's nice. A little bit almost like Level up again. Like beat 'em ups. Up again. That was a nice effect right there. So that's interesting in that it's a beat 'em up kind of survival game. Looks like I did all right there. Hello. How's it going?
Good. You can be called for tokens?
Yeah, I can do that. How much do you want to do?
Like $20.
Okay. Sorry, just get here. There's your card. Make a receipt if you need one. There you go. Thank you. Okay, let me finish this up if there is anybody still watching me. So I got High Moon and Tiny Flicker and All You Can Take. At least from the dead chat, it looks like I don't have anybody left with me. So maybe some will watch later on. This one, High Moon, take the role of a lone lawman as he hunts for outlaws by day and braves the jellyfish swarms at night. Leave a vote if you like the game. Press K. Oh. So, ASD. Okay, so K is slash. A little bit of slowdown there. The other person on the screen. Ow. This almost reminds me of the old Hydra. Like the effect, the graphics, I like that. Oh, that's fastest I think I've died on one of these games. But also maybe reminds me of G.I. Joe a little bit. Oh, it seems to be procedurally generating things, and so it'll be different with every play, which is cool. I like that. I don't know if there's a way to make it faster. Oops, and I shouldn't run into stuff. So, I mean, this one, it's definitely feeling a little more coin-op arcade-like, just because it's not stopping to explain things or menus or screens and whatnot. It's just getting to the action and going. And again, that is something that you need in an arcade environment. And I love that it's procedurally generated, because I think that also incentivizes you to play. Oh, darn. This one's fun. I almost imagine what this would be like if you had like a Final Furlong type excuse me, cabinet. Make it so that you could go faster or have bursts of speed. So this is a good one too. Also kind of reminds me of the old Konami G.I. Joe. Where you're riding on horseback. So it moves along a little faster. Oh, I have it. Oh. check to see if there's other things to do with the controls. So K is slash. It seems like, because I see a thing with the bullets, but I don't see how you fire it. So that is someplace, I mean, at least with an arcade cabinet, that would be easier to figure out, because you would be limited in the amount of buttons that you have, as opposed to an entire keyboard. That's one of those areas where the arcade's cabinets help a lot with the intuitive part of it. It's like Pac-Man, you just have the joystick, so it's easy to figure out what to do as far as that goes. A lot of slowdown on this one for some reason, so probably some optimized coding before release would be warranted. Bunch of buttons and I cannot figure out what. Firing my gun, which would probably be helpful in this part right here. That's a cool game. I like that one. I'm just, again, need to figure out how to use the bullets and a couple of adjustments, performance fixes, and that's one that could work out really well. At least at this part, instead of just showing that, should have like an attract mode of some kind. But cool concept. Haven't played a game like this in arcades in a very long time. Almost done. A Tiny Flicker. A game where you can only jump if you throw your candle away. Do not stay away from the light too long though. Something lurks in the shadows. We got WASD, it seems, for our. So it's just WASD. Okay. Our hold K. Oh. Dark guy. Okay, so I can aim my candle there. Kind of like a grappling feature, almost. I died. Hold K and go all the way over. Oh! I forget that when I hold K that, oh crap, I forgot to push this jump button. But I seem to have unlimited lives, which, again, is not something that works for an arcade still, but I know that's kind of a lost concept these days. Time it just right, I guess. Alright. Oops, crap. That worked. And that did not work. No. There we go, I guess. Whoops. That's an interesting game. The lighting effects are alright. It could use a little bit more pop in the graphics. I understand it needs to be at night and in darkness and all that stuff. But it takes a little bit of getting used to the mechanic, but it's cool. But let me move on so we can finish this up. Last game. All you can take. You've always dreamed of becoming rich overnight. Here's your chance. And that's all. Alright, from No Fuel Games. So we got ND, grab things, space. Or W? Okay, so I guess I need to grab that. Okay, so now I can swing. And probably need to grab that too. Waiting for me downstairs. This night will change everything, my friend. Gonna try to take over the world. He's falling asleep. Go inside and grab as much as you can. Be quiet. Oh, it's a thieving game. And it does have a timer. Okay, so I want to go and grab stuff, and if I can. Maybe if I pull, it'll be easier. I'll probably waste too much time trying to get that. Sombrero for $32. We got a minute left, so I gotta make it count. Still another shoe. Under 30 seconds. Plant. Plant? Yeah, $17. That looks like I'm out of time there. We'll see how it goes. And throws all the stuff in there. So, I mean, well, here's one of those instances where when you're doing nothing, say nothing's happening, and so in arcade games you need to keep moving. Maybe have lives or something. So this one could use some adjustments to work in a proper arcade environment and everything. Although it's hard to say how like that would work given the concepts. It doesn't have like enemies coming at you all the time, taking away your lives. But all right, that's all of the games from the Notice Me Game Jam. So sorry this took so long to go through. This took a lot longer. I guess I spent a lot more than 5 minutes on some of these, so my apologies about that. So out of these, the ones that I would see the most potential in for actually going into a real arcade cabinet would be, let's see, High Moon. Oh, I guess I need to sign in, so I'll have to do that later. But High Moon, it's definitely one that fits the bill. The Sylvester versus Little Beezy. Disco Hell Mayhem, Skeleton Punchers, and Moon Leap. And so all of these do need some adjustments to properly work in an arcade cabinet, but coming from, again, a real arcade operator, if I was looking for things to like add to my Exa Arcadia multi-game system, or getting a cabinet that had a few of these pre-installed inside of it already, those are the 5 games that I think would work best, again with some adjustments to properly work out. I get it that these developers may not have ever designed anything for an arcade before, or don't know if any of them own arcade cabinets, or come at it from a perspective like mine of what the game needs to do to earn in this kind of environment and not just get ignored. But I think those games certainly have the most potential to be able to do so. But if you like any of them, or you like some of the ones that maybe I wasn't hot on, you can go ahead and vote for them. Give them those votes that they need to win the competition. Again, it's at gxc.gg/game-jam/vote. You will need an account to sign in and place those votes, and the top 5 games do win real money, and so be good to see them getting that. But also, it says their game will be uploaded into a real-world arcade cabinet. Again, I have not heard anything about what that game cabinet's supposed to be. There are some multi-game cabinets out there. One that would allow for uploading, though, would be something like the Polycade, which has been around for a while, and that could be a good, interesting way for that to get more content, because from what I played of Polycade, it only has some licensed games from Steam, but nothing specifically made for the arcade environment. That's something that the Exa Arcadia does with all of their games, is yes, they do take games that exist on Steam and some other platforms, but they change them. They change the balancing of the gameplay so that it works in an environment like this, because just dropping these games as is, like any of these games dropped in as they are, they just wouldn't do as well as they would if they had some proper guidance on coin-operated game design. But hope you all enjoyed it. Hope I didn't bore you too much with all that, and hopefully my game skills were up to snuff enough. Obviously, they're not the best of the best, but that's where we're at. So I'll be posting on the blog about who wins when the winners are announced here on April 11th. So yeah, thanks again for watching this stream, and I've got a couple more videos from Amusement Expo 2022 to post. Had the flu all last week, so that kind of made it a little slower on video production, but again, thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next